Don't freak out. We are less than a week away from DragonCon. I hope you're getting excited. I hope you're getting ready. I just wanted to go over some last minute tips and advice to what I hope will ultimately kind of be like a survival guide for DragonCon 2025 so that you have the best time possible. Welcome to another episode of How to DragonCon. My name is Kong. I will be your guide. Before we get into all the tips and advice, I do want to highlight that I've got 2 panels coming up this year. It's a first for me. I'm very excited, a little nervous. The first one is going to be with digital media. It's going to be on how to turn your passion content creation into an actual side hustle that you can make money from. And the other one is going to be with a Silk Road track where I go over tips and advice on traveling to Japan. I hope you're able to attend. I would love to see anyone who is a subscriber or views these videos. I think it's just so cool that people actually come up to me and say, hey, and this time I actually have a treat for y'all. I have ribbons made. I think there's like 50 in here. I'm not going to show you what they look like, but at least you see the color in case you care to color coordinate that when it comes to collecting ribbons around the con. And let's get started. The first thing I have written down is badges, and it's a notice that you can't buy them on site. You cannot go to registration, go up to the table and volunteer and say, hey, I would like to buy one. They're going to say, well, you got to do it online. The registration is to just pick up the physical badge in person once you have a QR code from the email from the receipt after you actually buy it online. Just as a reminder, badge pickup will be at the Cortland Grand Hotel. All right, number 2, kind of related to badges, please buy them ahead of time if you are looking to buy a single day badge. As of the time of making this video, or at least the screen grab to put on the screen, they are still available. Single days are available, but they have sold out in the past. So if you know for a fact you're coming a certain day, please buy it now, secure it, and lock it down before you actually start your commute into the downtown area. Number 3, remember for single day badges, you cannot pick that badge up until that day. So if you're going to come on 2 separate days and you buy a Friday and a Saturday, you can only pick up Friday on Friday. You will have to go back to registration on Saturday to pick that one up. And that's one of the benefits of buying a full weekend badge is you just pick it up whenever you get there and you're covered the rest of the time. Number 4, related to badge. I've seen this question asked a lot by newbies. How long is a single day badge good for? Essentially until the sunrise of the next day. So let's say you buy the Friday badge. Of course, it's good the entire duration of Friday, and it will even carry over onto the stuff that happens after midnight, which technically it is Saturday. But let's say you go to a super late night dance or you just want to roll into the arcade at 2 a.m. in the morning, your Friday badge still allows you to do that until basically the sun starts coming up the next day and registration opens for Saturday tickets. And a final note about badges, please remember that your badge is non-refundable, non-transferable, so don't try to sell them or transfer them to someone else. If the con catches you, they will ban you. One of the most common rules about DragonCon is something called the 6-2-1, which means get 6 hours of sleep, 2 square meals, and at least 1 shower. These are all bare minimum standards. I actually don't adhere to that myself. I have my own, which is closer to more like an 8-3-2. I try to get 8 hours of sleep because you want to be rested before you tackle each con day because each of them are long and exhausting. I try to get 3 square meals plus multiple snacks during the day. And I'm fortunate enough to have a host or near host room so I can go back to my room and shower twice a day. I just can't imagine making it through the whole day on 6-2-1, but at least please stick to those as a bare minimum. And as a reminder, don't forget to download the DragonCon official app to your phone. It has a schedule and an abundance of all other information regarding DragonCon. I'm going to go over some of the highlights in case this is the first time you are downloading the app for yourself. So the first thing to be aware of, please make sure you download it for the right year. So while the DragonCon app, there's only one of those. When you actually download it, you have to pick what year. So don't be stuck in the other years. The 2025 screen should look like this. And once you have it downloaded on the main screen, there's a few places I want to highlight. The first one really you should go to is events. And when you click on it, you can sort by 5 different days, the 5 or really 4 official days and the 5th unofficial day of DragonCon. You can see that there is hundreds and hundreds of events to do. It is overwhelming to look at it this way. So go to the very bottom where it says filters, and then now you're going to see about 30 or so different kind of themes. This is what's known as a DragonCon track. A track is essentially an overarching theme or fandom. And I like to filter it by this way. So you can filter by stuff like horror, filter by stuff like Silk Road, filter by Star Wars, and kind of go from there and look at the schedule and slowly add them. So when you click on an event there, you can then star it and that will be added to your schedule. So when you go back to the home page, that will be on my schedule. Don't worry about having multiple things booked for the same hour slot. I actually recommend that you do that you should have at least a few backup plans because you never know where you're going to be at any given hour during the con. And it's better to have something pretty much ready to go depending on where you're at. Another area I want to point your attention to is speakers. So if you are there for a particular guest, click on their name. It should give you a brief bio, but more importantly, it'll give you sessions or events or panels that they're taking part of, so you can make sure that you don't miss the events that they're scheduled for. And the last area you want to look at is maps. So if you're a first timer, this is going to be especially useful. There is a map for each of the host hotels, including all the different levels that you need to know in order to get around. And there's more specific ones like the Walk of Fame, so you kind of have a rough idea of where that guest is going to be sitting in the giant ballroom. Speaking of maps, if you want an alternate resource, I actually ran into these people last year. They were handing out laminates of the map, which I thought was the best one that I've ever seen. I'm going to link to their social media. From what I just checked a few days ago, it looks like they allow you to just get a free PDF of it. So please save that to your phone. It's going to be a lifesaver. If for some reason your phone doesn't have service in the app, that map should pretty much cover 99% of what you need to know. Now, I know a lot of newbies come for celebrities and guests. If you have any question about that, please just go see my last video I made about autographs, photo ops, everything else. Again, I know that's what draws a lot of newbies in. That's probably going to be the thing that you're going to be most stressed about. And I've tried my best to tackle a lot of the common issues. So hopefully you go into the event with a little less anxiety. A quick note about rooms, hotels, and parking. If you don't have a room by now, you're probably not going to get one. So the best thing I can tell you is try to get something along the MARTA line or just try to commute in. But if you are commuting in, I would highly discourage you from trying to park in the downtown area, especially if you're just coming for one day. Not only are they going to be super marked up in terms of the prices, you could be driving around for a very long time just trying to find a spot. And traffic is going to be congested because it's the Labor Day weekend in downtown, which is already a major tourist spot. So I would highly encourage you just try to park at a local MARTA station that's close to you and ride the train in from there. Get off at Peachtree Center, which is station N1. It basically plops you right in the heart of DragonCon. All right, let's tackle some other newbie concerns I've seen over the years. They ask about, can you bring a bag? Can you bring outside food? Absolutely. It's actually encouraged that you bring your own food and snacks, especially if you have a host or an overflow hotel room, or even if you're coming for the day and you want to pack some with you in a backpack. It's going to help you save some money. Kind of related to that, there are no storage lockers, there are no changing rooms. So if you don't have a host room to change a costume into, you're probably going to have to come into the area already dressed up. Speaking of dressing up, you don't have to wear cosplay. Please know that, or don't feel any type of pressure to. T-shirts and shorts are fine to go to literally any event at DragonCon. Not only do you not have to cosplay, if it's a themed event, like let's say you're going to a Star Wars late night dance party, which I think is Last Party on Alderaan, you don't have to dress in anything Star Wars related. You don't have to dress as a Playboy bunny to get into the bunny hutch. It's whatever you want, as long as just normal clothes and you're not breaking any type of public nudity rules. You can just show up as you are to any event at DragonCon. Something you should bring, however, is cash, even though a lot of vendors and celebrities take credit cards, and there are ATMs, of course, in that area of downtown. These machines eventually will run out from the sheer volume of people that are there. All right, let's talk about food. Of course, there are plenty of options in the downtown area, being that it is a popular tourist spot. But if you want to confine yourself to essentially the 3x3 block of DragonCon, here's what you're going to have to deal with. Number one, the hotels, of course, have food options as part of their many restaurants, pop-up things that they are trying to do. Those are going to be pricey for the most part. The best option for a lot of people is the Peachtree Center food court. It's actually open pretty late, and a lot of the staff is familiar with DragonCon, so they try to accommodate that. But of course, everyone's trying to go there, so please keep in mind that you probably have to wait in line for a lot of the vendors in there. Now, there is also a secret food court, which I think is in the Truist Plaza. I'll try to put a picture up here. And they too have finally gotten smart and started opening up on the weekend. So if you do actually end up finding it, try to go there for a little bit smaller crowds. And last but not least, there is the Con Suite. I think a lot of people, even ones who've been attending for a while, don't believe that this place is real, but I assure you it is. It's a free service offered by DragonCon, so there's volunteers in there. It's basically snacks and drinks free of charge for anyone who has a DragonCon badge. And where you find it, it's in the Hyatt Hotel. It's in the corner where that little convenience store is. It's right above it, one floor. So there's some stairs right behind that convenience store close to the bathroom. Just take them up one level, come out, and you will see a large banner that says Con Suite. Just go in there, grab whatever you can at that given time, and just enjoy a nice little break away from the crowd. A note about big events and parties, please know that a lot of these events are popular for a reason. There's going to be long lines. So you may be waiting at least an hour just to get in, sometimes longer. So I know the Bunny Hutch is actually infamous for having ultra long lines. I pretty much don't think it's worth it anymore. But if that's something that you care about, just give yourself enough time to not only get to these big events and navigate through the crowd, but time to actually wait until you get into the doors. And remember, there's parties everywhere. There's not going to be one elusive party that's somehow going to be magically better than everything else. I just want people to have realistic expectation. I think really this is more of a life thing. Like, I love DragonCon. I think it's amazing. I think there's magic around the corner. There will never be one elusive event that is an answer to all your problems or anything like that. It's not going to be automatically like, oh, as soon as you go in the door, you're like, I'm having the best time of my life. It doesn't work like that. Okay. So have realistic expectations when it comes to parties and events. And just know that everyone is there to have a good time around you. So you can pretty much find that anywhere. Some events that I would recommend, especially to newbies, there is a long newbie Q&A, as Kim told me the other day. Apparently it goes on for nearly 5 hours on Thursday. They also have newbie tours on Thursday. So if you want to get a lay of the land, definitely go to those. And I think they have a repeat panel on Friday morning as well, just in case you have any last minute questions before the first full day of the con starts. Something else that's pretty cool is there are these major photo shoots based on different fandom. So if you are coming in a costume and you want to find other people dressed up in that fandom, especially for large photo shoots with official photographers, I'm going to put a link below to that. I think this has actually started to be in the app as well, so look for it there. But if not, I will at least post a link to the schedule so you can kind of look for those. Even if you're not in costume, those are just great things to see if you care to see a particular fandom, a particular show, game, or whatever it is. You're going to see all those people in one place. As for random things that may be a little less popular or at least a little less crowded, if you want to just get away from the hustle and bustle of the main areas, I encourage you to go to the other two hotels that are not connected to the big three. So the Cortland Grand, the Westin, it's always going to be a little bit less foot traffic there. On top of that, if you go to the America's Mart building for games, arcades, board games, miniature painting, stuff like that, that is a good chill way to spend an hour or two of your con that's not super hectic and chaotic. A note about swag and seek and ribbons. So both of these hobbies have really intensified in the last few years. So if you're not sure about what that is, a lot of people have taken it upon themselves to make some small swag things. They have official meetups where there's exchanges, but most of the time they just kind of leave them laying at different parts of the con, like maybe on a table, behind a bush, whatever it is. So if you find it, it's just kind of like a cool little treasure hunt to kind of keep an eye on and be mindful. It just gives you something else to do as the days go on. Likewise, there's also a lot of ribbons. This has become very popular. Of course, I've already said I'm making some myself and I'm adding to it. There's no real right or wrong way with ribbons. It just kind of depends on the person who has them and how they want to give them out. Maybe they'll just give them out to anyone who talks to them. Maybe they'll only give it out to certain people who are maybe like dressing up in the same fandom or whatever that is. Please don't feel entitled or don't take it personally if you don't get a ribbon. It's just a fun way to kind of like decorate your badge and just see which ones you get as the weekend goes on. The last thing that I want to say is don't forget to have fun and enjoy every moment that you get to have at DragonCon. So for me, DragonCon is amazing. It's one of the best weekends I have all year, every year for the last however long. Okay, but again, that's going to be very different from someone who's either coming for the first time or coming by themselves. So I just want you to set those expectations properly. DragonCon is very welcoming. Everyone loves the same fandoms and things. It should be pretty easy to make friends. I'm just saying, don't expect every single person that you talk to be super friendly and outgoing. There are a lot of introverts. There are people who are just simply trying to get somewhere, or they're busy, or maybe they're just not in a mood to talk. So just keep that in mind, okay? Don't take any of that personally. Just go on to the next group, especially if you're solo. I know it might seem intimidating to go to a big group of people who are already talking, but just don't be afraid to initiate it. And if it doesn't click, it doesn't click. Just move on. There are way too many fun things to see and explore, and just way too many cool people out there for you to get hung up just because of one bad interaction. So I just want you to keep that in mind. There is magic all around waiting to be discovered, and I hope you find it. All right, that's about all I have in terms of trying to share the tips so that you have the best DragonCon. If you have anything you want to add to it, please comment below. I look forward to seeing all of you. I hope everyone has a blast and the best con ever at DragonCon 2025.